Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Zed from me, long time no see, but today we're going to be installing a front lip spoiler on the STi. So it's getting a little bit cold now, so I'm not sure if it's the best time to be installing anything that requires stick-on tape, but this is from Pin Alloy. It's like a carbon fiber lip spoiler, and it's malleable. It's a lot like what the cheap Home Depot material is, except this one has a carbon fiber print on it, so it actually looks pretty nice in my opinion. And basically it sticks on here with this 3M double-sided tape. One side is already stuck onto the lip itself, and the other side just peels off and tacks on. A couple things that I worry about right now with the weather being kind of cold is whether or not it'll actually adhere very well. So what I'll do preemptively is to get a heat gun and heat this thing up so that the tape is actually very sticky. And then the second thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna obviously clean this off very well, clean the bottom side. I just came back from a trip to Baltimore in Maryland, so I'm sure this car is very, very dirty, as you can see. But basically what I'm going to do is clean this off very well, and I'm also going to use a heat gun to kind of warm the plastic bumper in order to make sure that the adhesion is good. I don't really have too much worry about here with it sticking on. My worry is going to be the point like right here where it has to bend up a little bit, and this is kind of a tight curve right here. My worry is that the adhesive over time will fail, but it probably won't fail right away, and something that I'll keep you guys updated about if and when it does fail. Basically I want to make sure that this spot especially is going to be heated up well on both sides, both the lip and the bumper here, so that the adhesion is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and clean this off as best as I can right now. This video is brought to you by 303 Products. At first, I was introduced to 303 when I needed a protectant for my Z4 soft top. This was the top brand and it worked great, so when I was given the opportunity to test out their products, I was glad to give it a go. Today's product showcase is their microfiber towel. If you're like me and your entire microfiber collection consists of Amazon Basics microfiber cleaning cloths, do yourself a favor and try out these 303 microfiber towels, because the difference is just night and day. They are much more absorbent and they do a much better job at picking up material. In the process of actually wiping this down, what I've noticed is that underneath here, I don't know how well you can see that, but let me see if I can get into view. Right here, you can see that the clip kind of goes right up to the edge of the bumper, over here and over here. Same thing on both sides. So I have to be a little bit extra cautious about putting, maybe I'll cut around the lip a little bit in order to make it fit, or another option what I could do is take off these clips and put the splitter underneath it, the lip spoiler underneath it, and see if that makes it easier to actually stay where it's supposed to stay. Either way, let me start heating things up with a heat gun so that things will adhere better. I'm just going to work one section at a time so that I can make sure it's nice and warm and it doesn't cool down very quickly. I just have the heat gun on the low setting right now, so I don't actually burn any plastic. But with this part pretty much warm to the touch, I'm going to get the lip, and I'm also going to warm that part up, so we can get this process started. As you can see, from it being cold, it's kind of stuck in certain positions. So what I want to do is make it soft and malleable so that it will actually stick. Especially at the edges. I don't want the definitely don't want the edges to come off, because that's where it's going to start coming off. Alright, so what I'm going to do is take off this 3M tape thing, expose just a bit of it, and then I'll continue warming it up a bit and just slap it on. Pretty easy install overall, I'd say. Doesn't really require too much technical skill. just really making sure that your surfaces are clean, your surfaces are at least warm enough. This would obviously be better to install in the summertime when everything's soft and malleable to start with. But for the most part, I think this will come out looking pretty nice. So I'll just start this first part here and start at the edge. Stick that right on. Making sure that I don't leave any tape exposed. And what I'll do is basically continue this all the way along. As you can see right now, it's already sticking on pretty well. Just do a little bit at a time. And the only reason I need to use this heat gun while I'm doing it is simply because it is really cold out right now. It's about 40 degrees or so, and that's definitely not the temp you want for installing this kind of stuff. My worry really is when I get to this part over here, so I'm going to continue on and I'll let you know if there's any issues. These curves right here are the spots that definitely worry me a little bit, but so far so good. It's holding on pretty nicely. That's pretty sweet looking already. I'm actually really excited about this because, I mean, I didn't want to do anything too crazy with the STi in terms of its looks. I have a really cool mod coming up, something that I've researched for a really long time to make the car sound a lot better without having it drone on and on and on, and just give it that Subaru rumble and the loudness when I want it, but nothing crazy otherwise. And I think you guys will be very impressed with the solution that I've come up with, or that I found at least. Didn't really come up with it. Alright, so I'm up to this part right here, which is the difficult part. Let's see how well it adheres to this corner right here. Definitely going to be more difficult to adhere to this corner than anywhere else. If it passes this part, it'll definitely pass the rest. So let's see how it does here in terms of how malleable this lip spoiler is. Alright, let's see. So far so good. I'm going to make sure that it's really tight up against there. Alright, let me hold this down for a second, give it a chance to adhere, and then what I'm going to do is also give it a little bit of heat, just to give it a chance to bond better. Alright, so far it seems like it's doing okay. Give it a little pressure. I'll hold that for a good 10 to 15 seconds. Just give it the best shot that it could possibly get. Alright. And voila! Looks like it's sticking so far. And just looking at it from the side here, it's subtle, but it looks good. It really does look good. Nice. Alright. I'm going to continue on. From this point forward, it shouldn't be an issue. Of course, that corner will give me a little bit of trouble, but should be alright. Let's continue on. This 3M tape seems to be working really well. I'm sure the heat has a lot to do with it. Nice. Alright, I think I got this side done pretty well too. I'm going to give it a second, warm it up and hold it. All right, so we just got a little bit of excess here at the end that I'll just cut off with a pair of scissors. That's it. All right, let's see how it looks overall. Nice, it's subtle, it's sleek in my opinion, and I think as long as you're not trying to fool yourself or anybody else into thinking this is real carbon fiber, I don't think you're fooling anybody. But it does look nice though. It's like, I wonder if I should actually continue it into the side skirts. I don't know how that would look. Not really sure how I feel about that, but I mean, I may be inadvertently ricing out this STi a bit, but I mean, just kind of small touches to the outside, just to that's kind of the thing I like to do with my cars. I don't like to go crazy with any body kits or anything, but just a little something to personalize the car. And since I don't really care what other people think too much, I think this is pretty good for the STi. I think it from the side, when you're looking at the front right here, I think it helps a little bit in terms of the presence of the car. But appreciate Pinalloy sending this out, letting me try it. This is definitely something that I wasn't really sure if I would dig, but so far so good. We'll see how well this 3M tape holds up at these tight corners right here, but it looks like so far it's actually doing pretty well. I'm hoping that as it gets colder again, without the heat gun on it, that it doesn't start peeling at the edges or anything. That's my main worry. Well, actually, on this side, I've cut it not necessarily exactly perpendicular, but I followed the weave of the carbon fiber, so maybe on the other side I'll do the same thing. Yeah, it's hard to see the pattern here, but you can see that it's not exactly, like, I'm gonna cut it just one step over and follow that line right there. But that's basically it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, please leave in the comments below. This is Zed for me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.